Well, hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to the FutureSox podcast, part of the Just Baseball Media Network. My name is Ian Eskridge. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. James Fox. Tonight, we're going to be getting into some Rule 5 stuff, some GM meetings, and some trade rumors and free agent talk. How are you, James?
I'm good, man. How's it going? You see this from baseball? He said "sup guts." I think he
Sup
meant I
guts?
think he meant guys, but that's cool. I'll take "sup guts." It's super interesting. Yeah.
Um,
Carrie, I'll answer.
so,
Carrie, I'll answer that, but not yet.
all right. So I'm first off, I'm just going to say congrats
Oh,
on the win. And for those of you that don't know, Mr. James Fox is involved in some football playoffs, and they won this week, so that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So Lockport, we hosted our first quarterfinal since 2003 when I was in high school. We played Barrington and won 35-0. So now we're going to the semifinals. We play at Oswego next weekend. So
Which is
I've never played or
not
coached there. Yeah.
not Noah Schultz's Oswego. He's Oswego East.
Correct. Yeah. And
Just want
so,
to make
so
that clear.
I actually interviewed for a teaching job or like a administrative job there once, and it was like really far from New Lenox where I live. It's kind of a pain. But no, like I've never played or coached there, so that'll be fun. I like going to new places. So
Yeah, I've been there, played baseball there, and I think football too. Actually, like way back in the day. You know how that goes. Um, yeah, so we got some congratulations in the chat. Thanks everybody. Appreciate that. So GM meetings were this week. Um, First off, the quote that it pretty much catches everybody right in the feels. Chris Getz says free agency is an avenue to bring in players to help in the win total, but not to go but to go beyond this upcoming season, I think would be a little premature considering the state of our club right now and the development of these young players. So, your thoughts when it comes to that quote?
I mean, I kind of think that they're like obviously not going to spend as much as like any of us want them to, but I do think there will be additions. I mean, he like said all of those things. Um, and then it was also rumored that like they were in talks with like Ryan O'Hearn, which I think is like a totally reasonable free agent signing for like the position that they're in, right? So, yes, like they're not in the Kyle Schwarber sweeps. It was weird. He kind of contradicted himself a little bit. Like it was like reported somewhere that it was only going to be 1-year deals, and then he said that they do multi-year deals. I don't know if that would be for some like an Eric Fetty type of deal where it's, like something like that, right? It's like pitcher gets a 2-year deal or because like I can't see Ryan O'Hearn taking a 1-year deal. That's why I think the whole thing's kind of strange. I mean, obviously it's all about development, right? Like I think there's like 5 dudes that are like pretty significant that are knocking on the doorstep, whether they start at Birmingham or Charlotte, like the two lefties and Tanner and then Antonacci and Braden Montgomery all could be up at some point, right? Like, yeah, it's about those guys. But I think they'll add a first baseman and a setup guy and probably a starter, right? And it won't be as much as we want, but it'll be something probably.
Yeah. So he mentioned that Jonathan Cannon and Sean Burke will be fighting for a rotation spot, which he said if he says it like that, that means that you can assume that they're not going to just be given the reins to those rotational spots, which is a good thing. But it also kind of opens the door for the positions that he said that they were looking at were corner infield, corner outfield, and starting pitching. So, and I would assume that they would probably also throw bullpen help in there as well, which wasn't, as far as I saw, wasn't mentioned, particularly. Um, but your thoughts on those two guys specifically?
For O'Hearn?
No, for Cannon and Burke.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no, I took that as like they're gonna come to spring training as starters, but like I don't know that either of them's in the rotation, honestly. Like if they're not like good enough. I think you let the new pitching coach get his hands on a guy like Sean Burke and see if it's like more consistent velocity. Eh, I don't know really what you do with Jonathan Cannon at this point, right? Like I think if either guy were traded, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Beef was right when he was on with us. I think there's two like locks for the rotation. It's Davis Martin and Shane Smith. Um, and then Grant Taylor will be on the team, and Mike Vassell will be on the team. And who else did he say? Probably Jordan Leisure. I think those five guys are definitely in the pitching staff, but I think the rest of the spots are kind of wide open, right? So, um, I do think free agent pitcher of the Martin Perez level ish, right? That's and then if they got another youngish guy via trade, if there's a pitcher coming back in the Robert trade, I do think, like you mentioned, corner outfield, which I think is what they mentioned, which is interesting with Mike Talkman and Benintendi technically here. I mean, if they traded Robert, they'd need to get a center fielder probably too. So yeah, I think it's first base. It's like lefty first base specifically is what it sounds like. Outfield and pitching.
Yeah, because he had
Um,
also mentioned that they wanted to get a left-handed bat. So I mean, I would assume that that would probably be one of the positions that they're
yeah, it
talking
seems
about.
like what Ryan O'Hearn, Josh Bell, Carey. It seems like Josh Naylor's a no, even though like I feel like a lot of Sox fans feel like that's the signing that would be interesting or make sense. Look, I think if Ryan O'Hearn's a 2-year deal, I don't know that that's not the best course anyway. We can get into some of the issues like the bat speed's not great, but I mean, he's got like a 130 WRC plus against, you know, both both handedness, So it's kind of interesting. Like I just Oh, I didn't see that. So
Oh,
Naylor
Naylor
signed.
just resigned.
Okay,
So
thank you.
there we go. So I guess he will not be signing with the White Sox, which
Interesting.
for
So it's
me
a
is
5-year deal to
okay.
stay in Seattle. Yeah, that's probably okay for him. Somebody give me the money when you have it because I don't have Twitter open. Thank you.
Yeah, I gotta say, when I heard what Seattle said about him after the season, after the World Series was over, I was actually thinking that they were gonna let him walk. So I don't know if that was like some posturing or whatever, just in saying, "Oh well, we wish him well" and whatever, because here he is. Like we're what a week into the season here, into the off
Yeah.
season, and he's already resigned. So
Yeah, I saw that. So there's a passing tweet that says he's like re-upping on a 5-year deal, but there's no money yet. So
hmm.
that I think that'll be interesting to see how much money it is. Like, I mean, I'm guessing it's like 5 and 100 ish, right? Like, or I don't know. So yeah, that's
Hmm.
well, it won't be Josh Naylor. I know Ian's heart's broken. So
Yeah, I'm so sad about that.
yeah.
Nah. Anyway, corner outfield bats. Re Benintendi. Getz said, "Our hope is that he's going to be able to play the outfield, but it would be silly for us to not focus on those areas based on recent history." Basically saying we're expecting him to get hurt, and we've also seen him play the outfield.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Talkman thing's interesting because he's not gonna be that expensive. It's like $3.5 million. Like, we've kinda talked about this, like, if they could dump Benintendi on somebody somehow, like, I'd be totally fine with Talkman and left. You can't have Benintendi and have Talkman playing right. I know he probably wants to stay. He's from Palatine. Um, my guess is Mike Talkman's not on the team, but I also hope that they don't like, I hope they don't non-tender him because you could have traded him at the deadline and you didn't because you're like, "Oh, we don't have to yet because there's a tender decision," right? I feel like you trade him to somebody and then they can make the tender decision. Um, that's not due yet. Like, the only thing that has to happen, I think the only thing that has to happen by Tuesday is the Rule 5 protection. The like tender, non-tender ARB guys, like that's not for a while still.
Yeah, I thought that was
It's
like
like
sometime in
December
December.
2nd or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we might not know on that for a little bit. But it is
Yeah.
telling that like technically, right? Technically your outfield's Benintendi, Robert, and Talkman. And they're still talking about adding, which I guess makes it a little interesting.
Yeah. You put those two guys in the corner of your outfield and your average speed in the outfield. It's good that Robert can play basically from the actual position of left field to the actual positioning of right field with his range and his speed. Because if you got those two guys out there, balls in the gap are not getting caught by either of those two guys. So, um, yeah,
No, I know. But then when he's hurt and you have to like play a backup in center field, then it turns into like a huge problem, right? Like
yeah,
baseball, Andrew Painter will get protected. Like that, he'll be yeah. Tuesday is
Yeah,
interesting though, because I'll like scour the list and see if there's any interesting guys. There is
yeah,
Eric Longenhagen at Fangraphs has something up on their site right now. It like basically goes through every team in the NL and AL about like interesting guys that could get left off,
yeah.
which I mean is like kind of pointless, right? You could just wait till Tuesday to see for sure. But it just kind of tells you the teams that like have crunches. It's always the Yankees. It's always Cleveland. They have like too many players to put on their 40 man. Like having too many good players isn't a issue the White Sox have yet.
No, not yet. It's coming. I know that you listen to Inside the Clubhouse all the time, and
Oh yeah,
Braden Montgomery was on this week, and he said his favorite position is a major league outfield position.
yeah.
So
He doesn't care.
yeah, he doesn't care, and a lot of people are sitting up and taking notice after seeing his Arizona Fall League numbers, which we pretty much knew, and we also know that the Fall League it's a hitters
Oh yeah,
league.
for sure. So this is it. So I brought it up earlier. So Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, Tanner McDougal, um, and then Sam Antonacci and Braden Montgomery. I feel like those are the guys that we could see, right? We didn't really talk about this, but my thought, like, I wonder if they just like put all those guys in Charlotte, and then it's like go perform and you're up like ASAP, basically, or if they'll split it and have some, because like there's no reason why they can't call a guy up from Birmingham. They've done it, but I wonder if they just like load the Charlotte roster with prospects and filter guys up, and that'll be one of the things I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, like here's my one worry about that scenario is that it's harder to hit in Double A for the White Sox prospects.
It is.
So I feel like moving hitters to Charlotte, I don't really see I don't really see a much of a point in it, to be honest. I mean, like even for pitchers, I mean, we see their whips and their ERAs just jump when they go to AAA. Not to mention with the ABS system, everybody's walks go up. So we put Hagen in AAA,
Yeah.
and that's like the weird thing is that you would think with the ABS system that you would have less walks, but as soon as they introduced it, both the hitters' walks went up, and so did all the pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Can you
um,
imagine like Sam Antonacci in Charlotte?
yeah, I mean, between the walks and the hit by pitches,
Yeah.
he'll have like a 600 on base
Well, and he'd have
percentage.
like some wall scrapers too, I feel like. It's like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
he's
a
got
hundred
he's got
percent.
he's got like 12 homers somehow. Like
Yeah,
it's
well, I want to say he had like 3 in the AFL,
yeah.
and that was only like what 22 games or something
Yeah, I
like that,
mean,
23
the
games.
so the thing with him is like and power is always going to be like a question obviously. If he can hit like 12 to 15 homers, he's like really super good. Um I just don't know that that's feasible. You know what I mean? Like if it's more my drawthy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's got a little bit more power than Mydroth does.
I think so too.
Um, but um, this is an interesting debate
I
here.
don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's done.
McNasty asks if Antonacci is better than Mydroth, and I mean, we'd be judging apples to oranges,
Yeah,
sort
like
of, at
Mydroth's
this
done it
point.
in the big leagues and in AAA.
Right.
I've been saying he's lefty Mydroth because I mean,
Yeah, I mean, their game's really, really similar. Both of them are the quote unquote dirtbag guy that eats and sleeps baseball and does all the little things right and does whatever the team needs.
yeah,
Um, I would say though that from what I've personally seen so far, I feel like Antonacci is just a tick above Mydroth
yeah.
so far.
I think that's fair. So Adrian asked if we think he'll be up, like Antonacci will be up quicker than Mydroth was this year. I don't think so. That was
That's tough.
like, because I also don't know like where he's gonna play. So me and Beef kind of went back and forth on Twitter about this, and I kind of agree. Like somebody asked if Antonacci could be at third with Mydroth at second, and I just don't know that you can have both as regular. Like, will they both be on the team at some point? Yeah, probably, right? But it's just huge lack of power from your infield. Unless you're getting 30 from Colson Montgomery and you're getting 20 at catcher, right? And then you just get them from other spots, I guess. But it's just it's like 12 homers and 1,200 at bats in theory ish. It's just I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, I'm going to answer this here. So, Doug asks, "Will the Knights be over 500?" Here's the thing: the Knights had the most home runs in the International League by far this year, and they were still not over 500. The problem comes in is with pitching, and when you play at that park, if your pitching's not immaculate and everybody's not, really, really locked in, it's going to be tough to be one of those championship teams in the International League with that as your home park. Just my
Yeah, and
thoughts.
and you use lots of bullpen arms. And if you use lots of bullpen arms, like a few of them are like gonna get hit every night. So
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of tough.
Yeah. Which we'll get into the 40 man here, but when you see a guy like Iriarte
Yeah.
out there and just walking all sorts of guys, and then just gives up one bomb here, it's tough. Southside Jeff says resigning Clevenger should help out with that. Woof.
Yeah. Not interested.
Yeah, we're waiting for that shoe to drop, but I'm personally hoping not. Um. So yeah, so as you mentioned earlier, Chris Getz did say that they would be open to multi-year contracts if it made sense. Um. So do you think are we looking at obviously, we'll get to Ryan O'Hearn in a second here because there's been a ton of rumors about him so far. Um, do you think that pitching comes into that? I know that Martin Perez dropped it, didn't accept his mutual option. Um, does somebody like that do they sign somebody like that back for 2 years? Because I mean he's pretty old and he
Right.
missed a couple of
Yes.
months. So
I guess
like
my
who
yeah, I don't know. I guess my thought would be like Fetty-ish, right? Who's the dude coming over? Cody Ponce?
yes.
Like that I could see. Right? Like how much money is that going to be? Similar to Fetty? Like if that's 2 years and $17 million or something like that, right? I could see something like that for sure. And even like Ryan O'Hearn, like I don't think there's any reason for Ryan O'Hearn to take a 1 year deal. So if you actually sign him, and look, like nobody really needs first baseman. So like if that's their target, my guess is that happens. Like in free agency, I'm saying. Like guys, they just play random dudes at first now. So if he's like a top target, like I would imagine that probably happens at some point. So yeah, I'd be curious to see the money on that.
Yeah, I think it's also, that you've also got the option of putting O'Hearn in left field if you want to,
Right.
which is a nice option to have with him. And then, he gets to, catch up with his buddy Fuller and um name's escaping me off the top of my head here, the hitting coach.
Yeah, Derek Showman. Yeah.
Yes.
Derek Showman with an O.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other guy from the Orioles.
Oh yeah, the new minor league hitting coordinator.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least they're, for spring training and whatever,
Sherman
they get him back.
Sherman Johnson.
Sherm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, no, that's I didn't really realize O'Hearn was like as good as he's been. It's not as many homers as I thought, but
Yeah.
I mean, like it was like a 135 WRC plus against lefties, I think, and a 125 against righties. Like that'll do. Like
Yeah, I think it was like
that's fine.
135 and 128 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty good.
that's pretty good.
And he
Yeah.
gets on base. It's exactly what they like want, right? It's like a guy that works counts and gets on base. Yeah, I don't know. I think that one makes sense. I think I've seen from fans, Yaz, right? Like Mike Yastrzemski potentially like as like an outfield option. Whatever. That's probably the level of guy. Like, I mean, they're gonna hand this thing over to Braden Montgomery. The thing about Braden Montgomery, we kind of talked about this in our group chat a little bit. Like, is he like gonna come up and play center for a little bit? Like, I guess I never really considered that, but it seems like that they might do that.
Yeah, that's where he's playing. That's where he played mostly in the AFL. I mean, he did play some right field as well, but I he can play center field. We had this talk on our group chat. He can play center field. but the thing that you should not expect is Luis Roberts' defense. You know,
Right.
um, his lateral side to side, going to the gaps. He's just going to the gap and back towards the wall. He's not as fast. Coming in, he's fast, but chasing down that ball in the gap, that's not going to be you're going to be missing that Luis Robert part of it with him in center field. That's why I
Yeah,
feel
he's
better in the
probably a
corner.
right. He's a right fielder. Yeah, and which is fine. He can be a right fielder. I think it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of. Yeah, it does kind of make me do the eye roll. I don't know. The guy, like, what's he hitting like 225 with the Giants, something like that?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that if it's a bridge guy until Montgomery gets here, sure. Maybe gets lucky and gets into some, but I just don't feel like that's like really I don't feel it's like a solution at this point. If the White Sox are going to sign somebody, it's like a stopgap guy. Like you got Derek Hill if you want a stopgap guy.
Hmm.
It's like we're not really worried so much about wins at this point. Still,
Right.
more about development. So
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Just my thoughts.
So a couple of things here from the chat. So baseball tossed. How concerned are you with his hit tool? Lots of people worried. Is that about Braden Montgomery
I would
baseball?
assume. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
I,
talked
I don't.
about that a
I'm
lot.
really not. I mean, I think he's power over hit, but I think it's okay. I think that's fine. I'm not really that concerned about his hit tool. He was a lot better. I think there were some concerns like in Winston Salem, but then once he got to Birmingham, he kind of really took off. And then the AFL. I mean, I kind of feel like Braden Montgomery's fast tracked at this point, right? I think Braden Montgomery is like what they were hoping they would do with Colson. Braden will come to spring training and there will be all these articles written about how he can win a job, right? And then he'll get sent down and then he'll be up in like a month.
Yeah,
And that'll be
yeah.
like
They're not going
kind
to
of
eat
how
that year of control.
there's
There's
no
there's
way.
just no
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. They can't do that. Adrian also said apparently the White Sox were at the Japan exhibition that Kazuma Okamoto was playing. And I saw that too. So he's like a third baseman that should get some pretty decent money in free agency. The thing I don't know is like, were there other prospects in the game, right? Because so the White Sox hired scouts in Asia recently. Like they could just be like finally a presence, right? Like it might not be for Okamoto if there's like other guys who could come over in like the years that follow. I just don't know. I don't know what kind of game it was. The only thing I know is that dude played in it.
Well, with the way things have been for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, I'm just, and this is going to sound silly, but I'm just happy that the White Sox have a seat at the table.
Yes,
The
seat at the
fact that
table,
they're
baby.
even there looking
Yeah.
is a step up.
Well, so and apparently this guy's like could stay at third, whereas the other guy, the guy that Dylan's scared to death of, and a lot of other people are too, with the
Me
huge
too.
strike,
Yeah.
yeah, with like the huge K rates, and he doesn't hit anybody over 92 or whatever. That guy sounds like he's first base only.
Yeah. I mean, if you
Muna
look at
Muna
him, he
Muna
looks like he's
Tonka.
a first baseman only.
Yeah. So yeah,
He's
that would
not,
be
doesn't look nimble.
that would be quite the thing. Is like if this like starts to get rolling right, and they're like, oh, the White Sox are a serious contender for Kazuma Akamoto. Great, sign good players. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and McNasty says they unfortunately have anything to sell to these guys, and I don't disagree with you. I actually had this conversation with a dad of a player in the system. That what do the White Sox have to sell to these guys that's not going to make them have to pay through their nose to get here, unless it's going to be a guy that's going to you know really be worried about playing time
Right.
elsewhere.
Yeah, you probably have to be the highest offer, and somebody would have to want Chicago and playing time, and that's basically it. Do you want to do this coaches thing now
I
or
do,
wait?
yeah, I
Okay,
was just gonna ask you the same thing. So,
cool.
TJ asked question on coaches. Do you think they plan on replacing Sizemore with a field coordinator? Because we know Grady Sizemore left and went to Minnesota.
Well, so
So
I think they'll replace Sizemore, but I think it's going to be a first base outfield instructor. Like somebody to coach first and teach the outfield. So Grady had a pre-existing relationship with the new manager in
Whatever his name
in
is.
in
Yeah.
Minnesota
Yeah.
From Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was Pittsburgh's old man. So Grady knows him. I'm sure it's like a guaranteed like 3-year deal or something in Minnesota. He probably didn't have that here. Um, my guess is he had money on the money left or whatever, and they just like let him out of it or whatever. So yeah. I mean, the White Sox announced, I think, that they have more coaching hires coming.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple more on the hitting side that I'm not really like allowed to get into yet, but there will be, some more hitting additions to the big league staff. And then I'm guessing a first base coach, and an outfield coach. So that's, yeah, this week, maybe. I have no idea.
Yeah. I do you think that the guy that they're going to put at first base, do you think he's going to be an outfield coach as well? Like, do you think that
Probably.
that's going to be the combo?
I'm guessing that's the same job. I mean, that's technically what Jason Bourgeois was doing.
Yeah.
So
No,
this
it
could be any,
was.
so this could be anybody. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
like,
Bourgeois
and it
in
sounds like
Baltimore,
they're not gonna replace the catching coordinator because they're just gonna have Walker McKimmon do it.
which makes complete sense to me. I'm interested to see what kind of differences there are because I was kind of curious as to what he was going to do this past season. But I kind of think that maybe he was just getting himself acclimated to what he was doing here
Yeah,
is
like
my
being the
guess.
bench coach, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting because one of the things that if you listen to the our Chuck video of Bove the other day, one of the things that he brought up that he was really set to work on is controlling the base pass. And that's supposed to be something that Walker McKinven is also really into, and that was like supposed to be like one of his big things that he did in Milwaukee as well. So I'm interested to see like what comes of that because the White Sox were, I think they allowed like 144 stolen bases or something, which
yeah, and
is
that
crazy.
wasn't that his job in Milwaukee? He was like the run prevention coordinator or something,
Yeah. Yep.
some sort of title. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. They'll probably have coaches this week, I would imagine. There will definitely be news Tuesday because that's when the Rule 5 deadline is. But yeah, probably coaches too, I think.
There it is. Derek Shelton.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot that. I
I,
totally forgot. Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking of Colby Shelton.
But
That's it. Kept coming to my
he
mind.
was there before Pittsburgh, right? He was like their hitting coach.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it went.
And then got the job and then now he's back. So, cool.
Yep. Um. So let's get to these trade rumors here. So the Luis Robert trade rumors have been making the rounds again. Um. What do you think? I now this is like these two things here. I know that you and I are going to have differences of opinion on. So your thoughts on Luis Robert here coming into the season?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm like fine if they trade him even if it's like a little bit underwhelming, especially if that allows you to spend. I just don't really trust that. I mean, why should we trust that they're going to take him into the season and he's going to stay healthy and they're going to get more at the deadline? If they get something suitable now, I think they might just do it, honestly. So my thought, like, if you made me guess, he's not on the opening day roster, and they trade him for something. Would be my guess on him.
I don't see that happening at all. I think that for the 20 million, I think that it's more I think that they're more likely to take the gamble that they can get something really good for him rather than trading him before the season starts and eating some money just to get like an okay prospect. If unless the deal really blows him away, I would be shocked if he's not here to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they've like talked to teams and like made an effort to like keep doing, but it's like, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you're gonna have to like lower your asking price, right? Like you have to, like, you're not gonna get whatever it is that they're asking for.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you insist on trading him before the season,
Yeah,
if you get to the trade deadline and he's not having a good year and somebody offers you a bag of balls, you take the bag of balls.
right.
But I mean at this point, is it worth more to take the gamble for the 20 million a year and he ends up having like you
A
know.
great first half that you can get more. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that. I guess the thing that I don't know is, like, can they spend it all if he's on the team? I don't know what their, like, budget is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which seems ridiculous that that would matter. But, like, do you literally, like, if you trade him, can you spend that 20,000,000 on something else? I don't really have that answer.
I mean, on what, a 2-year, $10 million pitcher? Like, I mean, is that
Right,
what you
yeah.
know? I mean, what's that gonna do for you?
Maybe that's the money for the Japanese third baseman.
Ooh, maybe it is.
Yeah,
You never know.
I don't know.
Let's see. Tom asked, "How are the offers for Robert Jr. going to be better now than last deadline if he
I don't know
plays
that they
well?"
will
And
be, yeah.
yeah, that's basically what I'm saying is I don't expect anybody at the beginning of this year to say, "Oh, now we're going to give you a,
Right.
a top 100 prospect." I just don't see that happening at
Well,
this
but
point.
here's the one difference though, right? Like, at the deadline, teams were treating him as a rental, so it was like a half season rental. This year, they probably would treat him the same way, but at least it's a full season of him.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we'll
then if
see.
things go well, it's another $20,000,000 option, right? Like, it's 2 I think it's 2 at 40 if
Through
you, like,
27, yeah,
if
through
you pick it up.
2027, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, technically, I mean, I guess it would take another team to be into it and think that he's actually going to stay healthy, which up until this point has been a real question,
Right.
obviously, you know.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people think that he doesn't care, which I don't see that, and from
Yeah, I don't think that's
what
true.
I've seen from people on the team, they said that the guy's a great teammate and that he loves playing baseball. So I don't think that he wants to struggle. He's just been on the struggle bus so far. So I don't know.
Yeah, and apparently he does his work and whatnot. It's just he's just hurt a lot.
Yep. All right. So moving along to the other
Hmm.
one that's been making the rounds here in the last week. It has been mentioned that numerous teams have been calling the White Sox, speaking about Mr. Edgar Caro, and with the three catcher situation that we have here with Corey Lee, Teal, and Edgar Caro, um, trying to get two catchers into the lineup at the same time, we know has been, you know, somewhat of a it can be complicated. We'll
Yeah, for
just put it
them it
that way.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's been complicated thus far, and with having three catchers and having three, like Corey Lee, say what you want about him, he's at least a respectable backup catcher. And if one of the, Teal or Carroll gets dealt, you feel pretty comfortable having Corey Lee there as a backup for that. So that's okay. Um, but let's hear your thoughts on Edgar Caro sticking here and what they're going to do.
Well, I don't know that they'd like for sure trade him, but I think they'll trade him if they get what they want. So this is like pretty contentious, like at Future Sox, like because like a lot of us really like Edgar Caro, and I think like look when they picked up Kyle Teal, it was like okay, yeah, they can play two catchers, and then we kind of realized that like they're gonna have a tough time playing two catchers, and we'll get into why. I don't think they would just trade Edgar Caro. I think this would be, for another similarly ranked prospect that plays the outfield, right? Where it's like, okay, this guy's going to be part of our core. Like somebody mentioned Justin Crawford. I don't really like Justin Crawford, so like I wouldn't love that, but like that sort of thing, right? Like somebody kind of brought up, and this is not happening because the Cubs don't need a catcher, right? But like Caro for somebody like Owen Casey, it's like that's like a similarly ranked guy, right? Like somebody in the 50 to 100 range in a system. I've heard the Rays interested. I've heard the Yankees interested. A White Sox beat writer also said that they had talks with two National League teams, but that there
Padres have got to be one of them.
yeah, but that there were like other players involved. It wasn't just for Caro. So yeah, I mean, look, I think there's talks, and I know like I told you guys in the group chat the other day, like, hey, like I heard they're talking about Caro, and then it kind of became a thing, right? Like Francis Romero brought it up.
Yeah.
And then I think like Heyman or something, I forgot who. No, it was Jim Bowden, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think we're gonna keep hearing about this. I don't know that we'll hate it if they actually do it because I think they value Edgar Caro and they're not going to give up 6 years of him, like unless they get a lot in return. Um, so yeah, I mean it's something to monitor. I mean, with the other stuff that we've kind of talked about, Ryan O'Hearn, outfield interest, Andrew Benintendi, like it doesn't seem like they want to play two catchers at the same time.
Yeah, that part of the equation for me is difficult. I know that if they traded Caro, I would probably be pretty gutted for the entire day if it happened, regardless of what the return is. I'm a pretty big I'm a pretty big Caro guy. Um, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that he doesn't get traded. But if the return is good enough, I understand. I don't want to see any Spencer Joneses
Mhm.
or something like that. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, trading with the Yankees in general,
It's
like
dumb. Yeah.
I'm over it because none of their prospects ever turn out really to be that guy, except for maybe a pitcher here and there. You
Yeah, I'm
know,
over that idea too. I don't really like dealing with them. So, would you like consider trading Kyle Teal instead, or would you just keep both guys for now?
I mean, I would. I don't want to
I
trade either of them, to be honest.
I think you'd get more for Teal, but I think trading him like people would freak out right now. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think more people would freak out if Teal got traded than if Caro got traded. Um, just because like when I kind of feel like the Teal thing is playing on people's emotions. Because when you see him play, he looks more fiery, and Caro
right,
seems more stoic. And I feel like Caro, when he got bumped to Double A by the Angels and skipped Advanced A, we've had this conversation a ton. I felt like they did him a big disservice by doing that, and I just feel like kind of along the lines of Lenny and Sosa. I feel like it's just going to take him a little bit of time to get comfortable, and then once you saw him get comfortable in Double A with the Barons, he started hitting for power, which had disappeared, and the batting average and the OPS and all that stuff started going up. And I kind of feel like that's going to be the same kind of thing that you're going to see from him if he's allowed to progress. I think it's a little bit short sighted to trade him at this
yeah.
point. Is just my thought.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on playing one or both of them at different positions?
I don't know. Um, I, d- I just I've seen the whole Teal in the outfield thing, numerous times. I've seen it in the baseball mentioned it in the chat here. I'm just not sold on that. I think that the value of them being at catcher, with their particular skill sets, I don't know that it necessarily translates if you put Teal in left field. He doesn't have enough power to be a left fielder. You put Carroll at first base. I don't think he's got enough power to be a first baseman. Both of these guys at catcher, I think, is where where their values maximized.
I totally agree. Yeah, I don't think the bat plays anywhere else other than catcher. Like they're prospects because they hit and play catcher, right? So, um yeah, so we'll see. Like I don't think this is going away anytime soon. I mean, obviously, with what we do here, we'll probably talk about Edgar Carroll from this point forward. And who knows? Like maybe there's like a winter meetings deal or something, or maybe they just keep both guys. I don't think they'll have all three guys.
Probably not. I think that at least one of them's gone. At
Yeah.
least,
And
and
on
I
and
my
yeah, no, keep going. Yeah, I
I
get
think it's
it.
going to be Corey Lee. That's just my thought, but you know, we'll see.
Well, so even if they traded Caro, I don't know that that means Corey Lee's here for sure. Like they could also move him and just go with like a veteran backup that's a defensive guy.
Entirely possible. I mean, they could also have Michael Turner there.
Right. Like it,
I mean, I don't see why they couldn't do that. He takes quality at bats, and he handles pitching
I
staffs
don't
really
know
well.
that they love the Corey Lee defense
Yeah,
or game
100%.
calling, like the whole operation.
Yeah. I mean, Turner was injured for the last like month and a half of the season with like like his finger was broken in like 3 or 5 places or something like that, something absurd like that. But great defensively, and he takes good at bats, but not a power hitter.
Right.
Yes, Kerry mentions Turner needs to be healthy. I agree. He should be at this point, I would
And he
think.
might be the catcher, and he might be the catcher at Charlotte.
Yeah, he might be. I'm kind of actually wondering because they haven't made any, they've released a few guys. I put out some tweets through the FutureSox account about guys that have gotten released. Um, Actually, Turner is Rule 5 eligible this year
So is
as well.
Hackenberg, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Right.
Hackenberg, the arm is good, but just the bat has never taken off, unfortunately. Um, so I wanted to bring this up just because it's so absurd. And I've seen it. I don't know how this got legs on Twitter, but the Fernando Tatis deal that people are talking about, that the White Sox are going to eat Fernando Tatis's contract and trade away. Was it Caro? I think that they were trying to say
Yeah.
that this
eh,
is.
Well, so I think the thing is with San Diego, like, they could trade Tatis because like, they're trying to sell their team because their, like, owner, right, like, operated like San Diego wasn't a small market, and then that guy died, and now they're like, "Oh, no, it's still a small market," like, and we have all these bloated contracts, so I do think there's gonna be, like, a reckoning in San Diego, at some point, but I don't think Fernando Tatis ends up back with the White Sox. He would just get traded to a team that like Boston or somebody that would be willing to pay him, I feel like.
Yeah. So if assuming that the Padres do get sold, does Preller still have a job there?
No. You know who I think I've always thought that this is the Theo Epstein spot. But it's like ownership in a like ownership capacity and he's like overseeing everything basically.
Yeah, I could see that.
Cuz
I could
he's
see
like
that.
he
I
was
mean,
there before too, like first like before Boston.
yeah, it's. I mean, if you're gonna live anywhere, that's like the perfect spot to live if you can afford to. The weather's fantastic. You can't beat that in my eyes. Some people, like my wife, she says, "I like seasons. You can have your seasons. I
Yeah,
like summer."
if it's 74 and sunny every day, like I think
Yeah,
yeah, in the winter
yeah,
that would be great.
yeah.
You
I'll
know what
take
would
that,
you
please.
know what would make the fall and the winter better? If it were 74 and sunny during those times of year.
Sleepy says Jerry just pooped his depends thinking about taking on that contract of Tatis.
Yeah, it's such a bad
Woof.
one.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, like the money's not all that terrible.
Right.
Um,
It's a
I
lot of
just
years.
don't know. Yeah, it is a lot of years, and you
Yeah.
wonder what he starts looking like as he ages here.
Yeah.
The numbers magically aren't as spectacular as they were at one point.
Mhm.
I
Wow.
don't know. I don't know what
Shocker.
the reason could be for that, but
Yeah.
yes, and as Uncle Ted mentions here in the comments, that Preller has signed some hella bad deals. Yes, he has.
Well, so he also hired a manager on a 1-year deal, similarly to the Angels, which is like that's like not a glowing recommendation for AJ Preller when he's signing like one of his former relief pitchers to a 1-year deal to be their manager. So look, like, does Preller get another job somewhere, like, immediately? Like, yeah, probably, you know? And
At
he'll go
least as
he'll
it is at least as international.
yeah, like, he'll take his carnival act elsewhere. But no, I would not do that either, Howard. Like,
Yeah,
Tatis
that
for
might be
Billy
the one that.
Carlson?
Yeah,
I
oh,
don't think I would do that. Yeah,
yeah,
no.
yeah. The Eric Hosmer deal was brutal, and it's not like everybody didn't know as soon as they signed that contract. You're like, what are they doing
Well,
down
aren't they
there?
doing it? Yeah, they're doing it now with Bogarts too.
Yep,
Like,
100%.
that's a bad one. They've had quite a few, and they're about to lose a ton too, the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, well, you see what the Dodgers built out there. They're not going anywhere.
No.
So the Padres are, wild card or nothing. That's it.
Right. And the Rockies just got Peter Brand, baby.
Peter Brand.
Yeah.
That'll make all the difference in the world. The Rockies are gonna become a superpower.
Did we
You'll
talk
see.
did we talk about that last week? We did, right?
Yeah, I think
We
a
brought
little
it up?
bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Jonah Hill's, freakishly small
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, Paul DePodesta. That's right. We did talk about it.
Yeah. Uh,
What else happened this week? I feel like there was some stuff.
yeah, so, I mean, well, so, one thing that was mentioned by Chris Getz, and, this will be the last of the major league stuff here, the Grant Taylor role was mentioned
Oh.
in passing this week, and what he essentially said was he's worried about Grant Taylor getting innings, not necessarily about him getting starts as far as a role goes.
Yeah, he wants like a bulk roll, which okay, like it just seems like it's something that we say and then it's like he gets the 8th inning. And then it's like, oh, he threw 60 innings again. He's a relief. I don't know. I mean, is the bullpen their way to like get him 100? Because what did he throw 60 some this year? I mean, yeah, he probably can't start. Like if he's maxing out at like 100 innings, like yeah, I understand why they wouldn't start him. But yeah, he needs to be like a relief weapon instead of just like being the closer or something.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this whole thing just kind of really reminds me of Garrett Crochet, is that there are certain guys that are just alphas and they have their mindset on being starters. That's their mentality. That's what they want to do. They will succeed in that position. And I feel like we're like kind of doing the Groundhog Day here thing, like last year with Shane Smith, we made it work, you know, and I feel like we've also had this conversation where when I'm talking about the pitch counts that these guys get limited to in the minor leagues with this system, is that are we trying to assemble just a gaggle of dudes that can pitch 80 pitches and 5 innings and then take them out? Like we're like that shouldn't be the goal of the team here, to have a bunch
No.
of those guys.
Does it make you at all feel like they're doing it so like they can trade him like as this like power relief weapon that with 5 years of control and you just like cash him in and what I don't know. I'm like skeptical of the whole thing. Yeah, so Sleepy said he had 63.1 innings pitched. So what can he throw? 90? 100? Like I I I don't know. I don't really know, but that's probably the reason they point to, right? They'll say he only threw 60 some innings. There's no way he can start.
I mean, I guess, you know, I'm just I don't know. Like
But on the other
we've
hand,
had
you
this
have two. On the other hand,
conversation.
you have two starters. So
Yeah. I mean, we know that they're going to at least need like on a major league average, it's like you need 13 starting pitchers to make it through a year.
right,
On major league average, knowing with the way that they have constructed their innings limits in the minor leagues, essentially you're limiting these guys in their innings every year anyway.
right,
Um, maybe he pitches a couple of we saw this last year, where like he would every once in a while pitch multiple innings. Maybe they do that a little bit more this year to get him up close to 100, because I want to say that they had said that once a guy gets to about 115 innings or so, then the kid's gloves come off, and then
right.
the next year they're supposed to be like fully let go. But you know, the guys have to have enough success in the major leagues to be able to escalate their innings count, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just like skeptical that they can get to 100 out of the bullpen
Yeah.
unless they're using some
Yeah.
openers or doing some stuff like Uncle Ted, dude. You're going crazy right now. Like the The one thing I'll say, like, with all the free agents, like, the White Sox will not be signing anybody with a qualifying offer because they'd be giving up their second round pick to do that, and it's the second pick in the round. They're not gonna do that,
Yeah,
regardless
they're
of
not. Cease
whether
isn't coming
we or
back.
you or anyone thinks they should. Like, anyone with a qualifying offer is, like, an absolute no-go, not happening.
Yeah, there's no way they're giving up the draft picks at this point. Did Zach Gallen, did he get a qualifying offer?
He did, yes, so he's out
Mm,
too,
yeah, that's
and
unfortunate.
he honestly should probably take it, but because he had a
Hmm.
rough year. I mean, I'm surprised Shota Imanaga's declining it.
Yeah, that was kind of a little bit weird, but maybe that's because he wants to change his area code.
Oh, interesting.
Just saying. I
But
mean,
maybe he's got like 3 years and 50 out there or something, and that's better than 1 at 22. I just don't
you
know.
knock a couple hours off your flight home.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and, like, if you go pitch in San Francisco or something, like, where you just, like, don't give up homers ever, I guess that could make some sense.
Yeah, so Carrie is our resident D-backs fan. She says Zach is the nicest guy. I don't. He seems like it. He seems like
Yeah.
a pretty awesome dude. I don't know about Shota at LA, but I would say I wouldn't be surprised. One thing I've noticed about the Dodgers through like this run that they've had over like the last like 6 years or whatever, they always need starting pitching,
All
and
the time, their
everybody gets
pitchers
hurt.
break constantly.
It's crazy.
It's because Mark Pryor's their pitching coach. No, I don't I just made that up.
Yeah, he tries to teach everybody to pitch like him, and
Yeah.
assumes that they have calves that are the size of
Do you remember
Volkswagen
that?
Beetles.
The pristine Mark Pryor mechanics, and then he got hurt anyway because nobody has any clue why pitchers get hurt. Like, it doesn't
Yep.
like, nobody knows.
Imagine.
Like, Jeff Passan wrote, like, a 400-page book on it, and the answer was like, "Yeah, I don't know."
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. I Uncle Ted brings up Mitch Keller, and I'll mention it. Like, I won't mention it every time Uncle Ted brings it up, but I'll mention Mitch Keller pretty much whenever Uncle Ted brings him up, just because I like Mitch Keller a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of a lot of possibility of being a really good pitcher.
Yeah. I can see Mitch
Chris brings
Keller.
up Dustin May.
Yeah, he's
He
rumored in, some of the Sox Machine, like, mock off-season things. I've seen some people put him in there.
he he's intriguing. His hair is absurd, um, but the stuff is undeniable
Yeah.
when he's healthy. So
Yeah.
I would not be mad
Those are the
about that one
types
at
of,
all.
like, high upside moves you can make, so pull up from Baseball Tossed about Bruce. This is a loaded question, sir. This is, like, not fair. It says, "Do you think Bruce Levine is trustworthy?" Um, well, so I don't, in regards to, like, when he says that, like, baseball will resume in 27 with a salary cap, and he spouts, like, nonsense about, like, player contracts and, like, all those contracts are gonna be grandfathered in, like, whatever, right? So, no, like, I don't trust him in regards to that. But, like, I'm pretty sure he heard it from the White Sox that they've, like, negotiated with Ryan O'Hearn's agent, right? So, like, if he reports that, like, "Hey, the White Sox are talking to Ryan O'Hearn," like, yeah, he's of course he's trustworthy. Like, been doing this a long time, and he's, like, a reporter on the ground. I just, like, don't agree with, like, the overall message generally that's pro ownership constantly on the show that he hosts.
One thing, coming from the GM meetings, and this is a staple of the winter meetings and the GM meetings, is the um, speaking in rhymes thing. The Scott Boris speaking in rhymes
Oh,
and
yeah,
riddles.
The Scott Boras pun session, yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of it. It's
I
just
like
so
it too.
stupid.
I
It,
love it,
it's
yeah.
Yeah, it's so dumb, but it's at least it brings some life to something that, especially with the GM meetings, brings some life to something that generally doesn't really
Yeah,
amount to anything.
but he also knows it too, he knows exactly what he's doing. And I love how he just, like, conveniently ignores any player that's represented by somebody other than Scott Boras, right? He's like, "Well, he's the best pitcher on the market since this guy," and it's like, "Oh, okay." Like, those are, like, all your guys. Like, there were other guys, you just don't, like, acknowledge them, because, like, that sort of stuff is funny. Like, I heard him doing one where it was Pete Alonso, right, where he, like,
That one was good.
fit, like, a pea in everywhere, you know? Like, I thought it was Andrew Dice Clay, you know, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"Peter Piper picked up," you know, I was like, "Okay." I'm like, where are we going with this?" But it was Scott Boras. So, yeah, he's a wackadoodle, but he makes his clients a lot of money, and he's a very, very rich person.
Yeah, no, for sure. Signing billions of dollars every offseason, from now until the end of time, because I don't think it's gonna go down unless, something crazy changes in the CBA negotiations next year.
Yeah, I don't know. Like on the did you listen so this week he's like, "Oh, well, the salary cap works in the other sports." It's like, "Yeah, I know that." But like it's like a non-start. It's like not going to happen. So I don't know
Yeah.
why like it's just there's so much time wasted talking about a year from now.
Yeah, not to mention, like we've had this conversation is that there's no way that the players allow a salary cap without a salary floor.
Right, it's not going to happen.
Just never it never will. So let's move on here. We've got the Rule 5 coming up on Tuesday.
Well, just the
Um,
protection deadline. But yeah.
just right. Just
Yeah.
the not the Rule 5 draft. That's December like 12th or
Yeah.
14th or whatever. But the Rule 5 protections. So the White Sox, the big names, McDougal, Murphy, Mason Adams, Tyler Schweitzer, Duncan Davitt, Ben Peoples, the return from the Adrian Hauser trade, and then Peyton Paulette are like pretty much the big names here. Your thoughts on who they're going to throw? I think what's the 40 man's at 35 right now,
Yeah, so they could in theory add 5 without getting
but
rid
they
of
probably
anyone.
add 4 because they're not going to
Yeah, they'll leave a spot probably,
for
I would
somebody to
think.
pick
But
somebody up in the 5 draft.
yeah, but you could also make that spot later. That's, like, one of the
True.
misconceptions, like, you could just do that the day before. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, I think there's one lock, like, in Tanner McDougal, and I don't know if you've, like, heard from anyone on any of this, like, I also haven't, like, reached out, but, um, I think he's the lock, and then I think Shane Murphy and Mason Adams are likely, um but after that, I don't really know. I mean, like, Peyton Paulette might be a lock, or he might just, like, be out of favor. Like, I don't really know. The Peyton Paulette one is probably the next one for me. Like, if it's 4 guys, he's included. If it's 3 guys, maybe he's not. And then, honestly, like, Tyler Schweitzer, like, I don't know that he gets protected right now. I don't know that he would get taken yet. Um, and then any of those other guys, it's just kinda seems unlikely. Aldrin Batista's super interesting. I don't think anybody would do that, but if all of a sudden he's protected, it's likely because they know somebody was going to take him.
Yeah. So my thoughts were it was going to be McDougal, Murphy, Adams, and maybe Paulette. Um, just because I don't know that they want to give up on Paulette's because as a closer he's looked pretty stinking good. I mean, in Charlotte he had a little bit of a rough time, but kind of everybody has a tough time, especially relievers in AAA. So that was kind of my thought, and like I don't know, I if Tyler Schweitzer doesn't get protected, which I don't think he will because I think that they're going to leave that spot open, possibly. I think he's gone personally. I think somebody will scoop him up. I think that pretty much not every major league team could use him, but I think a lot of major league teams could use him, even if it's just as to keep him on the 26 man for this year.
He's a mop up guy or something.
It's easy, like have him in like a piggyback role for somebody. I think that's a no brainer, super easy. If they feel that there's something that they can maximize with him that he's not doing at this particular moment, I think he's gone. Just my thought.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And then you have like a Samuel Zavala who got a lot better this year, but like nobody's gonna roster that guy like yet, right? Like if
Nope.
somebody loves Ben Peoples, right, and all of a sudden like so we'll see. Like we'll have more discussions obviously like after this happens. So like next week's show, I feel like we Could potentially dig into some names from other teams of guys that are actually available in the Rule 5 draft because the Sox will have the second pick and they'll very likely use it on a pitcher. It would be my guess. So yeah, I mean we can get there, but yeah, hopefully I don't know, maybe one of us will break some news like tomorrow about guys that are being protected. I don't really know. I haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, if I hear anything, I'll put it up. We'll see. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a, I mean, it's entirely possible that they don't want to give up on Schweitzer and they protect him. I don't know.
I could,
You
yeah,
know,
I wouldn't be surprised either. Those are the
maybe they
five names,
protect five.
right?
Who knows? We'll see. Um, so just to answer Kev here, he says Mason Adams likely didn't he have some of the best stuff in the system before his injury? Yes, he did. He is nasty. You got anything else this week, James?
I don't think so. I was trying to think if we did, I'd like some more baseball news. I'd like the stove to heat up. Right, that would be interesting. And yeah, I mean, we'll get White Sox news eventually. I think obviously winter meetings are soon-ish. Right, it's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And
Yeah, it's
that'll
like
be and that'll
yeah,
be newsworthy, even if like they don't make a bunch of deals. We'll have Rule 5 and draft lottery. So this will should start moving here soon, though.
yeah. I'm gonna look this up here right quick.
Yeah, I mean, it
Just
seems like I was
cause.
looking. There's like a bunch of Yankee arms again, for Rule 5. Like Shane Smith was like the like a red flashing light. That was like this is the guy you should take, right? Like I don't know if like this year there will be a guy like that, and if the Rockies would just take him if it were, but you know we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. So the winter meetings, December 7th, 10th. So that means the Rule 5 will be on the 10th.
It's the Wednesday, so
It's the last day, right? 7th through the
yeah, is the
10th.
7th a Sunday?
Uh,
The Rule
oh.
5 is Wednesday, and the draft lottery, I believe, is Tuesday.
So the 7th through the 10th, 7th is a Sunday and the 10th is a
Yeah,
Wednesday. So yeah, the
yeah, so that's
10th
what
will
it
be
is.
the Rule
Yeah, so the
5.
draft lottery is yeah, okay, Tuesday the 9th.
Tuesday the 9th will be on,
We
right?
will, yeah.
So we'll have a Sunday and a Tuesday
Right.
in the second week of
Somebody
December.
asked about the draft earlier. Yeah, I think Rock Shalowski's the number one pick.
That's what they say.
There's actually, yeah, there's like a guy this time, and then Grady Emerson is the Texas high school shortstop. I hope to have a draft notebook article out this week that's just like a little bit of a preview. Just like what to expect in the lottery and some top names, and kind of reviewing last year's class a little bit. But yeah, so Grady Emerson and Rock Shalowski, I think, are better than anyone taken for as draft prospects, right? Are better than anybody taken the last 2 years. So there's two legit dudes at the top. After that, there's some questions though.
Hmm.
So they'll have the fourth pick probably.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
That's I'm not like that the lottery. I've already got anxiety about it. I'll just
Yeah.
let you know that up
Yeah, it's a
up
thorn in the
front.
side. It's crazy. Like it's just a pain. It's like you're awful. You should be guaranteed this like awesome Rock Chalowski dude.
Yeah, I just saw a tweet yesterday, and it was talking about the I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I bookmarked it, and I'm gonna take a look here right quick. But it was talking about the NBA draft, and basically what it said was that since they instated the lottery system, like the the Nets haven't had a top 5 pick since 2012.
Right.
Oof.
And they've been terrible.
Yeah, and like
Like,
I
and it
want to
doesn't
say
and
that
it doesn't stop anybody from tanking still,
yeah,
which was
and
the point of it. Like,
yeah,
it
exactly.
just it just basically it forces you to tank for longer.
It forces you to, yeah, because you can't get out, like how are you supposed to get out of it?
Well, because so here's the
It's
thing. I think
oof.
it's like, oh, this team with the worst record got the sixth pick, right? So now they're gonna be forced to sign free agents and become mediocre, right? That's like the insinuation that of like what should happen, right? But instead, teams are like, "Oh no, we're just gonna keep going backwards and be even worse, and then hopefully we get better luck next year." And then you just stay terrible forever, basically, until you hit on a superstar.
Yeah, I wanna say that it said that, the team with the best odds hadn't won the first pick in, like, 15 years.
Well, yeah, because like even the team with the best odds, like that's they don't have like they have the top odds at number one, but number one isn't their like top odds. You know what I mean? Like you're way more likely to pick somewhere else than one, even if you have the top odds for one, if that makes sense. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
It's one of those things that, like, kinda helped reinforce my anxiety about about the draft lottery coming
yeah.
up. I was like, "Man, they're
Well,
just
so
trying to get me."
well, and the White Sox have better odds because of the team. So, like, really quick, right? Like, Colorado will pick ninth, Washington will pick, or Colorado will pick 10th, Washington will pick 11th, and the Angels will pick 12th. Um, so the White Sox have the top odds at number one at like almost 28%. Minnesota is second at like 22%, and Pittsburgh is third at 17%, and then everybody else is like 10 or below. So like I don't know. Like it's kind of like if you break this down, like I feel like well, the charts are wrong on here on Tankathon because they don't account for like when you have three teams that are basically out of it. But you can break it down and look at like their odds for each pick essentially. But I think the thing that people don't um necessarily understand is like if you've ever watched lotteries, right? They put all these combinations in, right? And they draw for number one. And then that team gets number one. And then they draw for number two, and then they draw for number three, right? It's not just like some code that gives you the 1 through 18. Like it doesn't work that way. And then once you get to pick seven, it just goes by record.
Yeah, I think they should just use a, RNG, like, draw, a random number generator and just do
Yeah.
it that way instead of these stupid balls. Keep those things out of here. Anyway, you got anything for, you good?
Yeah, all good.
All right, I'm going to walk us out here. You have been watching slash listening to the Future Sox podcast, part of the Just Baseball Media Network. If you are listening to this in podcast form, know that you can find us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and the Purple app. You can also find this podcast along with all of our written content at futuresox.net. If you are looking for White Sox prospect highlights, you can find them on X at Future Sox and now also here on our YouTube channel. If you love the content and want to support us here at Future Sox, there is a link to our Patreon in our channel description and at futuresox.net. You can also toss up a super chat on our YouTube stream. Also, don't forget to like this stream and subscribe with notifications so you know when we're going live while helping us out in the World Wide Web algorithms. My name is Ian Eskridge at Daily White Sox. He is James Fox at James Fox 917. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for coming to hang out in the chat and watching and listening. We appreciate all you guys. You guys are the best. We will talk to you guys next week. You have a good one, and we'll see you next week.